Hi, my name's Ray. This meeting's not blurred because that messes with your ability to see stuff. So this is the backside of a little mini Toshiba laptop. We got some lighting issues. I'll make it where you can see a little better. You can see the Toshiba written on the front, nice and big, easy to see. Now this is an older laptop. These laptops I'm showing today are a little older. They're from the dead pile. Let me move this up here where we can get close. And maybe right there, you get the idea. At least they made the DC voltage where you can actually read that and a couple of other things. But serial numbers, model numbers, small print. Okay, this is a standard size Dell. Now, we can read on the front of that one that it says Dell. The lighting's a little reflective, but you can read that says Dell pretty good in real life. Here's the back side. Now, on this one, in the middle there, that vertical one, that's an old Windows serial number code. And then over here, we've got a bunch of different stuff, a lot of detail on this device, including in some of that tiny little lettering is, what voltage and amperage battery or charger you need for the laptop, stuff like that. And this strip right here, this is a pretty standard Dell thing. They put in here an express service code, and these are the different types of serial numbers you need in order to be able to find important stuff. Now, of course, it's important to me because I've been fixing computers for people forever, and I need that information in order to be able to find drivers for the various hardware on your laptop. A lot of times your hard drive dies. I put a new hard drive in it for you, install Windows, and some of the stuff works and some of it doesn't. Maybe the keyboard and the touchpad work, but the camera doesn't, or the sound doesn't, stuff like that. And you have to find drivers and download the right drivers. And it's not easy when you can't read these tiny little numbers. And, look at your cell phone sometimes, especially for those of you with an iPhone. The serial number on that thing, you got to hold it just right to get the light to reflect because it's some pretty metallic thing. And it's the tiniest little letters you ever saw. And if you're above 40 years old, good luck, without a magnifying glass. And even then, if your eyesight's not the best, you probably got to get someone else to do it. Or you have to get a different phone to take a picture of the serial number on the back of that phone so you can blow it up and maybe see it, which is something that we techs that work on this kind of stuff have to do all the time. Now, this is a great big fat HP laptop. I can't remember it. This one might be considered a 19-inch laptop, but it's definitely at least a 17. It's bigger than normal. Like for comparison size, this Dell is what is considered a standard, I think 15.6, something like that. So this is probably a 17. And this was a great laptop till I burned it up. And you can see on the back of this one, the only thing we really have is the Microsoft sticker. That's it. And, it makes it very difficult to quickly and easily identify exactly what you're working with, what you're dealing with, which piece of hardware it is. So we end up having to do these, complicated searches where we deep dive into the hardware details of the computer if we can get there. And, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, here's another one. Let's see what this one is. This guy, I don't even know if these guys still make computers. They probably do. But this one's a gateway. And that little silver strip, while the lighting is making it, maybe you got the flash to see it right there. It's a gateway. You can read that. And what's on the back of this? Not much more than that Microsoft sticker again. Now, I know a lot of this has been a style decision. A lot of the idea that we don't want stuff all over our computer clogging it up, little stickers and stuff like that showing up. But this is the bottom. This is the back. Why are we tolerating and why aren't you companies getting it? Big numbers. Make it easy for everybody. It isn't always a tech like me that needs to see these numbers. Sometimes your customers are calling you, and what's one of the first things? Oh, well, what's your model number? And of course, you don't even answer the phone anymore. Now it's a website where someone has to be able to figure out what the model number is and type it in on your website to hopefully get some help. And then here is one of the disastrous things about it. If you're lucky enough to be able to find the model number you need, well, unfortunately, a lot of times there's more than one model number that applies to a laptop, and they don't have the decency to tell you this is the important model number for finding drivers to reset your computer. They also will, when you have just one model number for a laptop, you were lucky enough to find it, and you get on their website and you put it in there, it will list 40 or 50 pieces of software. Some are software, some are drivers, some are firmware updates, and they don't all apply to the model number that you entered. And you're supposed to magically know which ones to use. It's absurd. These companies need to get their act together. You have this giant, almost never seen area. Write them bigger and make it clear which ones are important to the consumer. We know that you put a ton of information on the back of these that does not apply to the average user. So I can see right here, I've got a model number. Hey, way to go, Dell, not bad. I also have a service tag number and an express service code. Well, the service tag number is what you really, really need when you're trying to find out the parts inside your laptop. So the model number, not as important as you would think. On other systems, the model number is important. So how about you guys get together and decide to make it such that when it says model number on the bottom of a laptop, that is all a customer or a technician needs to be able to identify what's inside the machine. I understand all of the different machinations about just-in-time manufacturing and all these other stuff that have come into it that have made it, quote, difficult for you guys to do this. I think you should do better. I think you should make it so that it's easier for your customers. And in plain, not just about laptops, not just about phones, but in general, why can't we print numbers big enough for a huge chunk of society to see? Macular degeneration begins at age 40 for most people, and our eyesight goes down over time. But we're going to use technology almost until the day we die. So why is it that you can't print the model number and the serial number big enough for people to see them? Thank you.